What's up? It's your girl KG Productions, your versatile female producer, and I'm back with another beat breakdown. I'm gonna do a little different this time. This time I'm gonna kind of like start over. So you see, I had the beat already done. I'm gonna mute all the effects. I'm gonna mute all the sounds, and I'm gonna go through one by one, and I'm gonna rebuild the beat so that you can see exactly how I put it together from beginning to end. So let's get it. Alright, so this first sample that I downloaded, it was a royalty-free sample I got from Splice, of course, and it was originally in D minor, but I took it down 400 cents to B flat minor. I just think it sounds better in this key. Let's listen. So as you can see, it's heavy on the bass. It sounds like it's just an acoustic guitar, but it's really heavy on the bass. So I went in, I muted all of my effects, and I'm gonna show you as we go. I went in and I put some reverb on it. That was the first thing I did. Normally I EQ first, but I put reverb on it first. So let's listen to that. It wasn't much of a difference, but it did sustain the notes a little bit, and I like the way that sound. But as I mentioned, it's heavy on the bass, and it was killing me, so I had to put an EQ on it so I can take out some of the bass. And this is what it sounded like after I put the EQ on it. Alright, let me let you hear it without the effects again. Super heavy. The bass is super heavy. And this is without, I'm sorry, this is with the EQ. Yeah, so I was definitely feeling that. Once I took the bass out, it was like I was able to vibe with it better. Alright, so next we got the vocal sample. And as I said before, y'all know it's not a KG Productions beat if there is not a vocal sample. So let's take a listen. And that's the sample without any effects. So the first thing I did was add this vintage chorus. And let me let you hear what that sound like. And this is without. And it wasn't much. It didn't add much, but I can hear the difference. It just spiced up the vocals a little bit. Next, I used this Surge XT effect. It's not a stock FL plugin. It's actually my first time using it. Let's take a listen. And this is without. You hear the difference? I love the way it kind of, I want to say muffle a little bit the vocals, just a tad little bit. And of course I had to add an EQ. I pretty much EQ all my sounds. Let's take a listen. So it gave it like a radio type feel, which is what I was going for. I cut out like all of the lows. So let's hear both of the sounds together. So after I was done with the vocal sample, I was like, I gotta add some keys now. And I wasn't sure if I wanted chords or not, so I just started playing around with the notes. And I was like, well, why not just add to the melody of the guitar sample? So that's what I did. Let's take a listen. So as you can hear, these keys already kind of have reverb on it. I panned it to the left, and I put a little bit of the stereo separation on it, and then I added my EQ. I moved the EQ to the bottom once I was already done, but I actually put the EQ on first. So let's hear it. And all I did was just cut out the unnecessary frequencies. So after the EQ, I put on my stereo enhancer. And what this did was kind of like separate, add a little bit more of the stereo separation from the left and right. After that, I added more reverb, even though it wasn't needed. I just love reverb on piano. So let's take a listen. So if we go into the keys, as you can see, the notes sustain all the way through, and that's what I was trying to get. That's why I added more reverb. I wanted the notes to sustain. It kind of sounds like too much by itself, but when you listen to it with the rest of the samples, it sound alright. So now I'm gonna double up on the samples, and I'm gonna start placing each instrument where they belong. So I actually, this is more so like the intro and also like part of the hook, and I use the piano for the verse. This is what the two sound like together. So you see how the piano kind of just adds a little bit of flavor to the sample. That's what that's what I wanted to accomplish. All right, so let's get into the next sound. So I took out the bass on the acoustic guitar because I didn't really want a bass line in this particular beat, but I did want some type of lows to balance out the highs. So what I did was I went and got a synth, and I kind of used that to kind of mimic a bass line, but it's not actually a bass line. And I got this synth from this free plugin I got called Synth Master. I'll let you hear it, and this is without any effects or plugins. Just play it by itself. I know. It sounds a bit crazy right now, but I did go in and add some plugins. Well, a plugin, and I just added the EQ. I pulled out some of the highs and some of the mids. I even pulled out a little bit of the lows. I didn't want it to sound too much like a bass like I mentioned before, but I wanted it to be there and kind of give the effect slightly. So this is what it sounds like. I honestly have been messing with this synth. The notes, man, every time I open up this beat, I do something different with it. I'm not really all the way content, but to each his own, I guess. What might not sound good to me might sound good to others. I'm really hard on myself when it comes to music. But let's get into the next sound. So I knew I wanted the flute in this beat. I wanted some type of something that was gonna come in and out, that wasn't gonna be repetitive, something that I can just add in to kind of like a little twinkle in and out of the song. And I actually found two flutes, and I used both of them in the beat. One I used during the verse, and one I used during the hook. So let's stuttering. Let's listen to the high flute. And this is, of course, without any effects. Very simple, not too much going on. So the first thing I did, of course, was throw an EQ on it. Took out all of the lows and some of the mids. I boosted the highs just a little bit. And then the next thing I did was add a reverb. So let me cut that on and let's hear it. It made it sound beautiful. Kind of like melodic type. I don't know. Just that reverb did it for me. So let's hear them together. So I actually think that I want to turn the flute down a little bit. Let me take a look. See what happens. As you can see, I panned it. I think that was alright. Let's hear it again. Kind of feels like I compressed the flute, but it's alright. Alright, so let's build this beat a little bit. So I'm gonna add. Alright, so as I mentioned before, I had a high flute and a low flute. So the next sound I'm gonna play for you is the low flute. I'll play that by itself. And that's without any effects. All I did was add an EQ to this one. Let's take it back a little bit so I can let you hear what it sounds like with and without. Alright, so this is with the effect. And this is without. And all I did was cut a lot of the lows. I took out a little bit of the mids, and I mean it brought the volume down, so it wouldn't attack. As you heard, without the effects, it kind of sound like the flute was attacking, for lack of better words. So very aggressive, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted to kind of be settled because I use it for the last bar during the verse. So let's hear it all together. I'll start from here. So this is the verse. I know it sounds a little empty, but watch as it come together and become a masterpiece. Alright, so now that we finished with our instruments, our musical instruments, well, all instruments are musical instruments, right? Nevertheless, let's get into the drums. As you can see, I'm back to the original beat. I'm back to the original beat. Earlier on, I was showing you how I put it together. Now that I've shown you how I put it together, we're going to get into the drums. So the first drum instrument, I guess, that I decided to put was a hat roll. I know I wanted a hi-hat roll, so let's hit this. And this is without any effects. Put the metronome on. Let's do that again. So for the hi-hat, the hat roll rather, I just turned it down and I put EQ on it. And let's hit the EQ. Not much difference. I just cut out the unnecessary frequencies. That was it. It was good the way it was, honestly. Alright. And after I added the hi-hat roll, I had to add my claps. And for the clap, I just added a reverb. Play it for you. You hear that? It kind of widened the clap out a little bit. And this is without. You hear how dry that sounds? Now, with the reverb. Hey, hey, hey. Next, I added a snare. One of my favorite parts of the beat. So let's hear that. And with the snare, I didn't do anything. I just turned it down a little bit. Alright, so after the snare, I had to add a kick. Most of my kick is used on the verse, and I use the 808 during the hook. But let's hit a kick, and this is without any effects. So I do notice that my kick is peaking. I don't have too many problems with peaking. It's nothing wrong with a little red sometimes. I did pan the stereo separation to the left, and of course I turned the kick all the way up. The first thing I did was add the EQ. I just took out the highs. Didn't need the highs. I wanted my kick to thump. So let's hear that. Alright, and this is without. You hear the difference? So after I put the EQ on it, I put that blood overdrive. Try to get it thump a little bit, just a little bit harder. I wanted that kick to I wanted to hit your chest. So let's hear that. So after we had the kick, we had to add a hi-hat. I had the hat roll already going. I wasn't originally going to add a hi-hat, but what's drums without a hi-hat? So let's hear it. And this will be without any effects, of course. The hat was already clean by itself, to be honest. I just added the EQ on there, took out the lows, and I panned it to the left. Pretty clean. Pretty clean. Let me play a little bit of that with. Let's add the music to it. Now my favorite part in the percussion section, my favorite part, the congos. Let me let you hear the congos with just the percussion, and this will be, of course, without any effects. Let's get it. Just an EQ, that's it on the congos. And turned it down some. I've been pondering if I wanted to put a compression on the congos, but I kind of like how it sounds. Alright, so let's get into the 808. I'm going to move over to the hook so that you can actually hear the 808. Hear what it got going on. And for the 808, let me show you. Put an EQ on it. Of course, I took the highs out, and then I put Maximus on here, and I just put, I use one of the presets, and I use punchy drums, just so that I can get the 808 to kind of thump a little harder. And let me let you hear what that sound like. Let me take the kick out. Alright, now let me let you hear that with some music. And again, this is what I would call the verse. I mean, a rapper, a singer could change it up and make it what they want to be, but the way I formatted it, this would be considered the verse. So, remember I said earlier on about the synth that every time I pretty much open up the beat and listen to it, I change it around. Now I'm having a, this is my pondering face. I'm having an urge to change it again to kind of match the 808. Or should I change the 808 to match the notes on the synth? Pondering face. Oops. Alright, so yeah, I think I'm gonna try that. I'm gonna change the 808 to match the synth and see how I like that. But first I'm gonna make this unique. In case I don't like it, I can always go back. So we got 808.2, 808.3. And now I'm gonna change the color so I won't be confused. So to do that, you can just click F2. Once you've clicked on it, you see it says 808.3 right there, 808.3. Click F2, and I'm gonna just change the color to something random. For now, we just drag it to an empty. There we go. All right, let's see. Before I get into next percussion instrument, so I'm gonna solo this. You listen and see what bass line is. Alright. Let me go over. Let's see what we come up with. Okay. Here we go. Now, let me highlight this so it can loop. Alright. Now, let's see what we can come up with. Alright, so alright, so let's go back. Alright. So I already had that. Let's see again. So I can keep this one down here. Let's go. That works. Alright. Let's say it again. Dun dun dun. Bum bum bum. Yeah. Let me see something. Boom boom boom. And this starts on the E, F sharp. I mean, I was about to say. Let me see something real quick. I'm gonna move that up a little bit. Let's see how that sounds. I don't have no patience. Let's just get to it. I like that. I like that. I think it blends better. I think it blends better. And I didn't have to change the synth for 100th time. Let's see. Alright, so now that we made changes to the 808, we gotta make changes to the kick as well. So literally, I'm just going to go to the 808. I'll copy it, and I don't know why I keep doing that. Then I'm gonna go to the kick, or the piano roll, and I'm gonna paste it. Just to make sure. Okay, so let's see. Move it too fast, huh? Let me cut this off. Let me cut this off. Alright, so one last thing. Let's go back to, what was it, number 3? No. Let's go back to the kick. Control A. Then I'm gonna hold Alt, and I'm gonna use the scroll wheel on my mouse, and I'm gonna turn the kick down. How y'all like that? How y'all like that? Alright, so last of the percussion instruments, I had a crash. As I'm sure you guys all have already heard by now. And I didn't have to do anything to it. Alright. So let's go back to Mute my producer tag. Let's go back to the mixer. Let me show you something real quick. All right, so you see right here where it says drum send. So I sent the clap, the snare, the congos, and the hat roll to the drum send. What I did with this was I added a compressor to the drums. I added a fruity limiter and a stereo separation. So let me let you guys hear what that sound like with the drums. I didn't send every drum, like the 808, it's not in there. I did do the kick, the clap. I did not send the hi-hat, but I sent the hi-hat roll. So let's hear it without first. Drums. Oh, and I said the combos. No, this is with it. So I was running my mouth when I cut it on. So let me let you hear it again. This is without the effects. The drum set. And this is with. You hear how clear that is? Alright, so I'm going to play the beat. And this is without the effects on the drums. Alright, and this is with the effects. Felt like it made the drums a little bit more clear. Like always, I always add my producer tags when I'm making these YouTube videos. I do it just for YouTube purposes. I do not put my tag all the way throughout the beat. I put it at the beginning or maybe at the end, just once for that matter. I think that's it, y'all. I think we made it to the end. So with that being said, let me let you hear it again. Alright, y'all, I really appreciate y'all watching yet again. This is video number 2 of a beat breakdown. I hope you liked it. if you could subscribe to my channel, follow me on Instagram, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, follow me on TikTok. If you have any questions, you can drop them in the comments. If you liked it, let me know that. If you had some issues or some things